It is currently 4:44 in the morning, and I cannot sleep. I've been up since like 3. I think I got up at 3 to use the restroom. And then I've been just up. I listened to a couple videos. I scrolled TikTok a little bit. Tried to put on some sleep music, all type of things, and I can't sleep. So, what is it? It's January 14th, I think. Is that somebody's birthday? Anyways. First of all, check out the shirt. Hawkins, baby. I'm not gonna lie. I'm still thinking about Stranger Things and how it ended. Cover up a little bit. Anyway, so due to the fact that I can't sleep, I'm gonna read a little bit. Cause I heard like if you can't sleep, like read instead of scroll, just different shit like that. Look at what I have. You Deserve to Be Rich. That's the book I was talking about yesterday. Rashad Bilal and Troy Millins. And I also have, because I keep a couple books on my nightstand team. Why I'm No Longer Talking to White People About Race. I didn't finish it. I think I'm about halfway through. What am I going to read though? I think I want to read Everything is Fucked by Mark Manson. So, actually, my camera is sitting on. I'm just gonna read for a little bit, and then hopefully I'll get tired and take my ass to bed. Everything is fucked. I'm not gonna lie, maybe I'm a little slow, but I've been having to reread. I've been having to reread like some of these chapters or pages like 2-3 times before I be like, okay, what he trying to say? And yeah, I be trying to really obtain the information, baby. Alright, let's get into it. An open letter to your thinking brain. Hey, thinking brain, how are things? How's the family? How'd the tax situation work out? Oh, wait, never mind. I forgot. I don't fucking care. Look, I know there's something the feeling brain is screwing up for you. Maybe it's an important relationship. Maybe it's causing you to make embarrassing phone calls at 3 a.m. Maybe it's constantly medicating yourself with substances it probably shouldn't be using. I know there's something you wish you could control about yourself but can't. And I imagine at times this problem causes you to lose hope. But listen, thinking brain, those things you hate so much about your feeling brain, the cravings, the impulses, the horrible decision making, you need to find a way to empathize with. I lost my staying disciples to read like this. I lost my train of thought. Where was I at? You need to find a way to empathize with them because that's the only language the feeling brain really understands. Empathy. The feeling brain is a sensitive creature. It's made out of your damn feelings. After all, I wish it weren't true. I wish you could just show it a spreadsheet and make it understand, you know, like we understand, but you can't. Instead of bombarding the feeling brain with facts and reasons, start by asking how it's feeling. Say something like, hey, feeling brain, how do you feel about going to the gym today? Or how do you feel about changing careers? Or how do you feel about selling everything and moving to Tahiti? The feeling brain won't respond with words. No, the feeling brain is too quick for words. Instead, it will respond with feelings. Yeah, I know that's obvious, but sometimes you're kind of a dumbass, thinking brain. The feeling brain might respond with a feeling of laziness or a feeling of anxiety. There might even be multiple emotions. A little bit of excitement with a pinch of anger thrown into the mix. Whatever it is, you as a thinking brain, aka the responsible one in the cranium, need to remain non-judgmental in the face of whatever feelings arise. Feeling lazy? That's okay. We all feel lazy sometimes. Feeling self-loathing? Perhaps that's an invitation to take the conversation further. The gym can wait. It's important to let the feeling brain air out all its tricky, twisted feelings. Just get them out into the open where they can breathe. because the more they breathe, the weaker their grip is on the steering wheel of your consciousness car. Then, once you feel you've reached a point of understanding with your feeling brain, it's time to appeal to it in the way it understands, through feelings. Maybe think about all the benefits of some desired new behavior. Maybe mention all the sexy, shiny, fun things at the desired destination. Maybe remind the feeling brain how it feels to have exercise, how great it will feel to look good in a bathing suit this summer, how much you respect yourself when you follow through on your goals, how happy you are when you live by your values, when you act as an example to the ones you love. Basically, you need to bargain with your feeling brain in the way you'd bargain with a Moroccan rug seller. It needs to believe it's getting a good deal, or else there will just be a lot of hand waving and shouting with no result. Maybe you agree to do something the feeling brain likes, as long as it does something it doesn't like. Watch your favorite TV show, but only at the gym while you're on the treadmill. Go out with friends, but only if you paid for your bills this month. You know what this is reminding me of? Like the bargaining with their thinking brain. So I think what he's trying to say is that, let me not try to even analyze what he's trying to say, but it reminds me of James Clear. I believe that's who the author is. I read his book, Atomic Habits, and he was speaking on that too. Like, I think it was called like, something about like grouping your shit together. But like if you're on the treadmill, like give yourself that space to like watch your TV and listen to your favorite podcast and stuff like that. And I forgot what he used though, but basically like not syncing, but like just putting your tasks together so that you can make sure that you do this other thing, do something that you like with it. But I forgot how he breaks it down. But like that's what this sounds like. A little bit. I don't know. Maybe. That's just something that jumped in my head when I was reading it. Anyways, start easy. Remember, the feeling brain is highly sensitive and completely unreasonable. When you offer something easy with an emotional belief, feeling good after a workout, pursuing a career that feels significant, being admired and respected by your kids, the feeling brain will respond with another emotion, either positive or negative. If the emotion is positive, the feeling brain will be willing to drive a little bit in that direction, but only a little bit. Remember, feelings never last. That's why you start small. Just put on your gym shoes today, feeling brain. That's all. Let's just see what happens. If the feeling brain's response is negative, you simply acknowledge that the negative emotion and offer a negative emotion and offer another compromise. See how the feeling brain responds, then rinse and repeat. But whatever you do, do not fight the feeling brain. That just makes things worse. For one, you won't win, ever. The feeling brain is always driving. Second, fighting the feeling brain about feeling bad will only cause the feeling brain to feel even worse. So why would you do that? You were supposed to be the smart one, thinking brain. This dialogue with your feeling brain will continue back and forth like this, on and off for days, weeks, or maybe even months. Hell, years. This dialogue between the brains takes practice. For some, the practice will be recognizing what emotion the feeling brain is putting out there. Some people's thinking brains have ignored their feeling brains for so long that it takes them a while to learn how to listen again. Others will have the opposite problem. They will have to train their thinking brain to speak up, force it to propose an independent thought, a new direction. That's separate from the feelings brain, the feeling brains, the feeling brain's feelings. Okay? They will have to ask themselves, what if my feeling brain is wrong to feel this way? And then consider the alternatives. This will be difficult for them at first, but the more this dialogue occurs, the more two brains will begin to listen to each other. The feeling brain will start giving off different emotions, and the thinking brain will have a better understanding of how to help the feeling brain navigate the road of life. This is what's referred to in psychology as emotional regulation. And it's basically learning how to put a bunch of fucking guardrails. I don't know why I saw that as a cue. It's basically learning how to put a bunch of fucking guardrails on one-way signs along your road of life to keep your feeling brain from careening off a cliff. It's hard work, but it's arguably the only work. Because you don't get to control your feelings, thinking brain. Self-control is an illusion. It's an illusion that occurs when both brains are aligned and pushing the same course of action. It's an illusion designed to give people hope. And when the thinking brain isn't aligned with the feeling brain, people feel powerless, and the world around them begins to feel hopeless. The only way you consistently nail that illusion is by consistently communicating and aligning the brains around the same values. It's a skill, much the same as playing water polo or juggling knives is a skill. It takes work, and there will be failures along the way. You might slice your arm open and bleed everywhere, but that's just the cost of admission. Okay. But here's what you do have, thinking brain. You may not have self-control, but you do have meaning control. This is your superpower. This is your gift. You get to control the meaning of your impulses and feelings. You get to decipher them however you see fit. You get to draw the map, and this is incredibly powerful because it's the meaning that we ascribe to our feelings that can often alter how the feeling brain reacts to them. And this is how you produce hope. This is how you produce a sense that the future can be fruitful and pleasant, by interpreting the shit the feeling brain slings at you in a profound and useful way. Instead of justifying and enslaving yourself to the impulses, challenge them and analyze them. Change their character and their shape. This is basically what good therapy is. Of course, self-acceptance and self-acceptance and emotional intelligence and all that. Actually, this whole teach your thinking brain to decipher and cooperate with your feeling brain instead of judging him and thinking he's an evil piece of shit is the basis of CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, and ACT, acceptance and commitment therapy, and a lot of other fun acronyms that clinical psychologists invented to make our lives better. Our crisis of hope often starts with the basic sense that we do not have control over ourselves or our destiny. Yes, we feel victims to the world around us, or worse, to our own minds. We fight our feeling brain, trying to beat it into submission, or we do the opposite and follow it mindlessly. We ridicule ourselves and hide from the world because of the classic assumption. And in many ways, the affluence and connectivity of the modern world the affluence and connectivity of the modern world only make the pain of the illusion of self-control that much worse. But this is your mission, thinking brain, should you choose to accept it. Engage the feeling brain in its own terms. Create an environment that can bring about the feeling brain's best impulses and intuition rather than its worst. Accept and work with rather than against whatever the feeling brain spews at you. Everything else, all the judgments and assumptions and aggrandizement is an illusion. I wish I can Google that. I wish I can put that in my definition, whatchamacallit, but I'm recording on my phone, so. But what a word. What the fuck does that mean? Everything else, all the judgments and assumptions and self-aggrandizement is an illusion. Okay. It was always an illusion. You don't have control, thinking brain. You never did and you never will. Yet, you needn't lose hope. Antonio Damasio ended up writing a celebrated book called Descartes' Error, about his experience with Eliot and much of his other research. In it, he argues that the same way the thinking brain produces a logical, factual form of knowledge, the feeling brain develops its own type of value-laden knowledge. The thinking brain makes associations among facts, data, and observations. Similarly, the feeling brain makes value judgments based on those same facts, data, and observations. The feeling brain decides what is good and what is bad, what is desirable and what is undesirable, and most important, what we deserve and what we don't deserve. The thinking brain is objective and factual. The feeling brain is subjective and relative. And no matter what we do, we can never translate one form of knowledge into the other. This is the real problem of hope. It's rare that we don't understand intellectually how to cut back on carbs or wake up earlier or stop smoking. It's that somewhere inside our feeling brain, we have decided that we don't deserve to do those things, that we are unworthy of doing them. And that's why we feel so bad about them. This feeling of unworthiness is usually the result of some bad shit happening to us at some point. We suffer through some terrible stuff, and our feeling brain decides that we deserve those bad things. Therefore, it sets out, despite the thinking brain's better knowledge, to repeat and re-experience that suffering. This is the fundamental problem of self-control. This is the fundamental problem of hope, not an uneducated thinking brain, but an uneducated feeling brain, a feeling brain that has adopted and accepted poor value judgment about itself in the world. And this is the real work of anything that even resembles psychological healing. Getting our values straight with ourselves so that we can get our values straight with the world. Put another way, the problem isn't that we don't know how not to get punched in the face. The problem is that at some point, likely a long time ago, we got punched in the face, and instead of punching back, we decided we deserved it. Okay. Chapter 3, Newton's Law of Emotion. I'm going to start chapter 3 off camera. Look at this. How cute. I just want to read my books and ignore all of my adult problems. Facts. I'm going to read the next chapter off camera because I don't want to be on camera the whole time, pretty much. But look at this. Remember how I was saying earlier that yesterday I was saying I'm a Kai Cenat. I like all of AMP though. So I got some Tone Baby Vanilla Mint. I think this is the one my boy Agent was, you know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna put some of this on because I be reading. You know, them lips get real, you know what I'm saying? So, put some of that tone on. But speaking of Kai, I'm gonna say this. I love Kai and I think he's a good guy. So between Kai and Doechii and a slew of other people and just life shit, that's why I'm updating with these little videos and shit, because they just remind me and motivated me to just do it and just put it out there. There's a couple other creators and like just people on YouTube who are pretty motivational and just videos I come across online that also is the reason I'm like, you know, document your life and start now, and you know, just all the great advice that they give is why I'm like, let me just do it, let me just put it out, let me just not care, let me just not overthink it. Of course, like Wallow267, he's always speaking about how, like, you know, this phone is the most powerful thing you got in your pocket, da da da. So anyways, I say all that to say, shouts out to Doechii and shouts out to Kai Cenat, because seeing like all Doechii's old videos that she posted before she became the Doechii that we know, which is so weird that Aiden Ross is even like speaking on her being an industry plant, because it's like there's literally footage on YouTube of her putting in the work, and before it's just like she didn't just come out of nowhere, in my opinion, but whatever. So watching all her old videos resurface before she became the Doechii we know, it's so cool. And she was just putting that shit out there and documenting her journey. And then Kai just sharing a lot of his shit of like his sewing and reading and just all that shit. It just motivated me and really just reaffirmed me and reminded me, like, just put it out there, just record it, just do it, don't overthink it, because I'll think my way out of some shit easy. But yeah, I'm about to get back into this book. I'm already at the 22-minute mark, and I didn't want this video to be over 20 minutes long, so till next time. Chapter 3, Newton's Law of Emotion. The first time Isaac Newton got hit in the face, he was standing in the field. His uncle had been explaining to him why wheat should be planted in diagonal rows, but Isaac wasn't listening. He was gazing into the sun, wondering what the light was made of. He was 7 years old. His uncle backhanded him so hard across his left cheek that Isaac's sense of self temporarily broke upon the ground on which his body fell. He lost all feeling of personal cohesion, and as parts of his psyche put themselves back together, some secret piece of himself remained in the dirt, left behind a place from which it would never be recovered. Okay. I didn't even know that about Isaac. Isaac's father had died before he was born, and his mother soon abandoned her son and married